It was a piece of cake to predict that Mike Trout is having an MVP level season, Jacob deGrom is racking up those strikeouts, and the Atlanta Braves and New York Mets are battling it out in the NL East. Even the most casual baseball fans could have seen all that coming. And for those who are a little more invested, even the Tampa Bay Rays' early success isn't that big of a surprise, especially if you paid attention to their consistency in the past couple of years. But despite all that, there have been a couple of surprises that only a few superfans could have seen coming. That's right, we're talking about all those players in two teams who've absolutely blown past our expectations already. With 7 weeks down, here's some of the biggest surprises so far in this MLB season. First up, what's the deal with Aroldis Chapman? When the KC Royals signed Chapman before the season kicked off, nobody expected him to even last through the season. In fact, it seemed like the KC Royals were making a pretty bad decision at the time. Chapman might have been one of the most overpowering pitchers in baseball history at the peak of his career, but his days of glory were coming to an end. Last season, he was struggling with a 4.46 ERA and a 1.43 WHIP. In fact, those unsightly 6.9 walks per innings were just the cherry on this disastrous cake. He was routinely throwing triple-digit fastballs throughout his career, but all that came to a sad end when his velocity suddenly dipped to 97.5 miles per hour. Even his hard slider wasn't the same swing and miss secondary offering that we'd seen in the past. This season, Chapman signed a one-year, $3.8 million deal with the Kansas City Royals, and with a few weeks down, that is quickly turning out to be one of the steals of the offseason. Despite giving up some runs in his last outings, Chapman is still maintaining a 1.93 ERA, 0.96 WHIP, and 16.4 K9 in 10 appearances. Even his fastball velocity is ticking back up to 99.5 miles per hour, and he's at a career-high 2,334 RPM spin rate. Now, that's a surprise that none of us could have seen coming. If this turns out to be nothing else, he'll still be a valuable trade chip in July. Next up, is Matt Chapman taking a big step forward in the offense? We couldn't talk about big surprises without checking out Matt Chapman, one of the best third basemen with incredible defense and the ability to smack 30 homers out of the park. He's easily one of the best at his position in the league, but let's be real, his offense has had some weak spots despite his power numbers. In the past couple of years, he's been hitting a combined average of 0.219 with an on-base percentage of 0.319 and a slugging percentage of 0.418. And don't even get us started on that strikeout rate, hovering around a whopping 30%. Even though he was a decent 3.5 WAR player during those seasons, folks were still scratching their heads, wondering what kind of market he'd have in free agency after 2023 with those so-so stats. But guess what? This year, something's changed. Chapman came back as a different person in the all-batters box this season. He's leading the AL in batting average with a sweet 0.364 and rocking an on-base percentage of 0.446. And get this, even his strikeout rate has come down to a more manageable 23.8%. Plus, he's already smacked 16 extra base hits in just 101 plate appearances. Now, we gotta be honest with you, that 0.458 BABIP he's got going on right now isn't gonna hold up for a full season. That's just crazy luck. But here's the thing, his improved strikeout rate and the insane batted ball metrics he's been putting up suggest that he's definitely taken a major step forward offensively. We don't know about you, but we're excited to see how Chapman keeps it going. If he can force up this level of play, he's all set to be a force to reckon with in the league. After that, let's talk about Jarred Kelenic's big rise to success. Now let me tell you something, my fellow baseball fans. Nowadays, we're too quick to call a young player a bust if they don't instantly light up the big leagues. Jarred Kelenic felt the sting of that label when he struggled by hitting a measly 0.168 with a high strikeout rate over the past 2 years. People were ready to write him off for good. But hold your horses, he's just 23 years old. The potential that had him ranked as the 4th best prospect in all of baseball didn't just magically disappear overnight. And guess what? In the 22 games he's played this year, Kelenic is showing us what he's made of. He's hitting a solid 0.325 with 7 doubles, 7 homers, and 14 RBI. Oh, and let's not forget that he's leading the AL with a crazy 0.688 slugging percentage. Now, we know you're thinking, is this just a hot streak? Well, let's not be too quick to judge. In fact, his batted ball metrics are telling us everything we need to know. They're screaming from the rooftops that this breakout is for real. By the looks of it, Kelenic might just be on the path to becoming a big star in the game. Keep your eyes on him. Next up, is James Outman becoming everyone's favorite rookie? Outman is the rookie who flew under the radar when the LA Dodgers broke camp. Everyone was busy talking about Miguel Vargas, the hotshot infielder who was supposed to be a top contender for the NL Rookie of the Year. In fact, nobody was even thinking about Outman. But get this, a month later, Outman has come out as the frontrunner for that prestigious award. This 25-year-old is here to tear it up. He's hitting a sweet 0.301 with a 0.383 on base percentage and a whopping 0.675 slugging percentage. And you won't believe that he's got 14 extra base hits and a solid 1.3 WAR in just 25 games. Sure, he's got a few strikeouts, 27 to be exact, but with his power, speed, and solid defense in center field, his overall value remains sky high. And let me tell you, this isn't some out-of-nowhere contribution either. Outman made waves as one of the breakout prospects of the 2022 season. He put up insane numbers, hitting 0.294 with a 0.393 on base percentage and a 0.586 slugging percentage. Do you remember how he racked up 31 doubles, 31 homers, 106 RBI, and even snagged 13 steals in 125 games between AA and AAA? So it's easy to say that what we're seeing now is just a continuation of that breakout performance. We still gotta say, Outman has been one of the biggest surprises of the first month of the season. The future is looking bright for James Outman. And get this, you won't believe who's leading the majors in WHIP right now. It's not Zach Gallen, despite his 28-inning scoreless streak. And no, it's not Jacob deGrom either, with his 51-5 strikeout-to-walk ratio. In fact, if you're thinking it's Jarrett Cole, Luis Castillo, or Shohei Ohtani, then you're still wrong. It's actually Baltimore Orioles right-hander Tyler Wells. Over 4 starts and 1 relief appearance, this 28-year-old has allowed only 18 hits and 3 walks in 29 innings for a 0.72 whip. In fact, his first outing of the year came straight from the bullpen and saw him toss 5% innings. The low walk rate isn't the biggest surprise here though. We already saw what he was capable of last season when he had a 4.25 ERA and a 1.14 whip in 103.2 innings. The big shocker here is how the 6'8" right-hander only has a few opposing hitters, to a 0.176 average when he's armed with a fastball that flies at an average of 92.9 miles per hour. Do you think Wells will keep these stats up through the season? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's get to the real question. Did the Texas Rangers make a good decision with that $820 million investment? Wait, you haven't heard? Huh? Well, the Texas Rangers front office didn't hold back when it came to spending some serious cash in the past couple of off seasons. They dropped a mind-boggling $820 million on big names like Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, John Gray, Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney, and Martin Perez. And of course, those big investments come with big expectations. The Rangers haven't seen the light of playoffs since 2016, but things are looking different this year. In fact, they've come out swinging in the first month of the season with a solid 14-10 record. Can you believe it? They're even half a game ahead of the reigning World Series champs, the Houston Astros. And let's not forget, their plus 56 run differential is second only to those crafty Tampa Bay Rays. The Rangers' rotation definitely got a facelift, and it's holding its own now by ranking 9th in the majors with a respectable 3.67 ERA. The bullpen has been pretty solid too, especially with Will Smith doing his thing as the closer. But wait, there's more. The offense is firing on all cylinders, sitting pretty in the top 10 in several categories. We're talking 6th in batting average, 5th in OPS, tied for 7th in home runs, and 2nd in runs scored. We don't know about you, but the Texas Rangers are making some noise. With that kind of performance, they're showing they mean business and are ready to compete. The playoff drought might just come to an end this season. Keep an eye out on these Rangers, because they're making waves. And finally, is it going to be a year of the Pittsburgh Pirates? They might have been stuck in perpetual rebuilding mode for the longest time, but it looks like they're finally showing some signs of progress. This season, the Pittsburgh Pirates are here to make something happen. They've come out swinging with a jaw-dropping 17-8 record and a solid plus 31 run differential. That's some serious firepower right there, almost on par with those mighty Tampa Bay Rays. What's even more impressive is that they've achieved all the success with a roster filled with under-the-radar players. We're talking about guys like Jack Sawinski, Connor Joe, Johan Oviedo, Rosany Contreras, Colin Holderman, and Dwayne Underwood Jr. And let's not forget the offseason free agent signings that rounded out the roster, including Andrew McCutchen, Carlos Santana, Rich Hill, Vince Velasquez, and Austin Hedges. This hot start has even convinced Brian Reynolds, the face of the franchise, to commit to an 8-year, $106.8 million extension. This is the same guy who requested a trade just a few months ago. Talk about a turnaround. Sure, they're missing the dynamic young shortstop O'Neal Cruz due to injury, but this team still feels like it's on the rise. But hold on, the excitement doesn't stop there. There's more young talent coming up the ranks in the minor leagues, all set to make an impact. With the early momentum they built, the brand new Pirate squad could be the 2023 version of the Baltimore Orioles. So keep an eye on these Pirates, my friends. They're defying expectations and showing us that they mean business. This could be the start of something special in Pittsburgh. Now for the big question. What's the biggest surprise for you this season? Tell us in the comments. Speaking of big surprises, do you remember some of the best comebacks in baseball? Check the next video to see our top 10 picks for the best comebacks in MLB history.